nice.
Okay, and somewhere on the interweb.
Like working out, just that simple.
Yeah.
It's a nice little setup you guys have got. Put the camera in for you, makes it worthwhile, man.
Okay, so we'll kind of take it here for the top. We're Gripple Manufacturing, and some of you probably know Gripple, some of you don't. A show of hands, project managers over here. One.
Project engineer.
Project engineer, two. And then direct foreman, general foreman.
Engineering side, yeah.
Engineering. Okay. Great, so we have a good mix here, different specialties. So what I'll do is kind of give you an overview, and then we'll get very specific with our products and some of the solutions that we would have for you guys. We work with Western Allied. In fact, we're working with a project right now with you, with Team Disney and Burbank. So some of your PMs and engineers are very familiar with Gripple.
I think you guys are familiar with cable too, right? In terms of you've got some of your sheet metal actually in the front hung on cable, so that's some relevance to that too, which is nice.
So with Gripple, we manufacture our products in Illinois and here in Santa Fe Springs, California. So basically right down the street, we're literally 3 minutes from here. We have our manufacturing plant, which is very good for you guys because when you have a project anywhere in Southern California, we can get product to the job site same day, next day, which is really important. That gives a lot of a lot of speed to get things to where you need to have them. So as far as Gripple, we began the whole innovation back in the 80s to use aircraft cable. This here is aircraft cable, 7x7 strand, very, very high performance cable, stronger than all thread actually. So this cable will actually outperform all thread and be flexible so that it provides a lot of opportunity in situations where all thread may not be ideal. So as the innovator in using aircraft cable, we began our company to use it to suspend all types of mechanical, electrical, and plumbing services from below deck. And so whether it's ductwork, whether it's piping, whether it's any type of hard to hang service, VAV boxes, rectangular duct, whatever it is, we have a solution using aircraft cable as well as some rigid systems. So if you look at Gripple, the whole purpose of Gripple is to make your projects as a contractor go faster, more efficient, cleaner, safer, and a better looking performance. When you look at the product, the install, it's going to look a lot better than all thread. It's certainly going to look a lot better than hanger strap when you look at ductwork. If you've ever seen a lot of projects with ductwork and you've got hanger strap that's all uneven, it just looks ugly, and this looks a whole lot better. So not only do we perform better, but we're safer to use and we look better. And that's really, from reducing the carbon footprint to most importantly for you, it's going to make you guys more money because your projects are going to be installed faster. So let's say, for example, you want to hang a simple piece of ductwork. You just go up to your truss, you take a piece of our aircraft cable here, you make a loop over the truss, and then we come in, can't get it out of my glasses, you come in, you've got a lock, and the locks all have arrows, and you just push this through, no tools. I'm just pushing this through, coming back through. Now I can, without any tools, look how quick I can hang a piece of ductwork. Now, of course, this cable could be 30 feet long. I don't want to hang 30 feet from my arm, but show you an extra duct hanging right here. So this looks a whole lot better than all thread. It performs, and as far as the weight loads are concerned, look at this go, well, that doesn't hold a lot. So whether you need to hold 200 pounds all the way up to 1,600 pounds, this whole mechanism, this whole system starts off at a very lightweight duty and goes all the way up to, if I have it in here, I think I do.
Looking for a lock?
No, I'm looking for this one here, yeah. So you can see the cable here, much more heavy duty. This will be attachment to strut. So this will hold up 850 pounds per hang, and if you do two, that's 1,600 plus pounds. So anything that you need to hang, suspend, we can provide the cable for you. So that brings me to the next point is attachment to the deck. Now, I just showed you a real simple, I just showed you this type of loop. That's our most simple. Well, that's not going to be the solution for all of your hanging points. So if you look at from your deck, whether it's a stud, whether it's a toggle, whether it's a shot fire, 90-degree eyelet, 45, so pretty much any type of method, all these hangers are machine crimped in our factory. So there's no on-site job, there's no prefab on-site. There's no cutting, installing, crimping. Everything is in a system so that when you get your hangers delivered, they're ready to install right away. So we would just figure out what type of attachment to your structure you want, pre-crimp it on, and then deliver it that way. Whether you got a 5-foot drop, or a 10, 20, 30-foot drop, a 100-foot drop, we assign what the connection's going to be, what the cable is going to, what the diameter of the cable, and what the drop's going to be, and then we deliver it to your job just like that. So the whole point is, again, to eliminate all of, if you have a project and you're delivering 10-foot or 12-foot strips of sticks of half-inch threaded rod, someone's got to be out there with a bandsaw cutting them down. You have to deburr them for safety. You have to load them up. And you can imagine, if you're up on a scissor lift, you've got 4-foot sticks of threaded rod, how heavy that is on the shoulder to keep going up. You guys are, having to use a lot of extra muscle work to do what, you can do with cable. You could carry, 200 of these for what it would be for one piece of threaded rod. So again, it's about the performance, not just the performance of the product. And by the way, you have to also, or I have to also explain that everything you see here, not only is it made in America, which qualifies for the Buy America, a lot of your owners want to source and have everything Buy America. We manufacture right here in Santa Fe Springs, so we qualify for the Buy America. But most importantly, everything you see is SMACNA approved. You need to have SMACNA. Everything is certified, and that's IATMO, and that is ICC, IBC, MSS, SP58. We are also OSHPD certified. We just renewed for our new certificate to be OSHPD certified for hospitals. So there's, with all those approvals, we have submittals for every one of our products that can go to your engineer of record, or if it's your engineering, so that we can submit on any project. We've never been denied from an engineer because we have all the submittals. So that's the overall writing factor. We are certified, and we also have all the approvals. Now on to some other products. So I showed you the loop hanger. I showed you the connection to the structure. Now from there we get into the different hanging methods. So for example, let's say that you have a, and again this is so easy. So I set this up. I locked it on. I just push button and I take it apart. It's as simple as that. So you can see how you can. Now, by the way, I didn't mention too, remember I talked earlier about how you got ductwork that's hanger strapped, it's all uneven. I was just at a project that we just did, a big car dealership, and the whole length he had our cables, and man, that ductwork was beautiful. It's all perfectly straight, and if it wasn't, all you have to do is go push the button and slide it to the point that you want, self-adjusting as you need. So let's say you have a rectangular duct or you've got a VAD box, the VRF, any type of mechanical square angled box. We have a hanger for that. Same method again. Keep in mind, this connection to strut could be all thread, or could be a stud like this. So just think of this up into your insert. So now I have a toolless way to connect, and all I have to do is to adjust is pull the pin, and I can go up and down. Now I can attach this. You can see from here, smack the 3 points of contact right there to whoever your service is. So this is another connection that we have, another lock. And to take it out, all I do is pull the pin and it comes right out. Again, easy to adjust. So if you don't like where it is, you just adjust it. You can't do that without getting a guy out with a wrench and unscrew everything, and it takes 5 times as long. Same thing here. You have an access. You have a service that has an access panel that you can't You don't want to you don't want to block underneath, so you have a control box, and you need to have it hung without blocking the underside. With a side mount, same kind of deal. Put that around the side like that. See? So any service that you have, we have a solution for it. And it's, look how easy that is. I just stuck it in, pulled it right back out. And there's no having to, deal with threading it on with all thread. That's another connection. Now, oftentimes you want to build a trapeze. The standard method, I was just at a job site the other day, and they had thousands of all-thread trapeze. And I'm thinking, man, that must have taken forever to do, because they had to cut the sticks down, they had to go up, they had to screw them on, and thousands of man-hour labors, or women-hour labors, I guess you could say too, because we install as well. So how about a method that's 4 times as fast? And that would be a trapeze using Gripple. So this would be a prefab cut in your shop, or we can actually prefab it for you. We connect what's called our unigrips, these little locks here, push button locks. We just screw right onto the strut. It's not proprietary, any strut you get anywhere. Now, instead of having to use all thread, I just simply put like this, and then I lock it down. And again, I'm showing you this. It could be. Now I have a trapeze. Put one here, one here. Now this is way faster. I'm just a sales guy. I don't install it. I did that in 20 seconds, 10 seconds. So you can imagine if you have hundreds and hundreds of these trapezes, you know how much money your company's saving? You're competitive now. You're beating the competition because they're up there doing all thread. So your labor is way faster with this. So that's building a trapeze. Now, there's a lot of as far as how you do it, you may know exactly what your width is going to be, or you may not. Even if you have to cut the strut, it doesn't really matter because the hanging is the most expensive part. If you know your strut, we can have them pre-cut for you. We sell them pre-cut, so if you know it's going to be 3 foot, we cut them. We can actually prefab these for you, or we can send them, and your guys can do this here in the shop, and then it goes out the job site just like that. So all you gotta do is pull it up on the scissor lift and put it in.
Do you guys do a lot of prefab, or do you do it in the field, or how does that work for you?
We probably do more stick build than not. So that's an accurate statement. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're trying to do more prefab, definitely on the piping side.
Yeah.
But compared to a lot of people, we do mostly field.
Still doing it in the field. Okay.
Yeah.
What
Question on this trip. Go ahead.
Sorry. I guess because I'm not that familiar with a lot of this stuff. When there's an earthquake, doesn't that like move?
Yes, and that's actually one of the advantages of cable. I'll tell you why. Yes, it'll move, but with our cable, we have seismic. We have 2 ways. We have what are called sway brace. And all we do is we simply, on a vertical drop, we have a little connector that will connect to the truss from the actual cable, and that'll sway brace to keep it from moving. So we just put 2 more up. You see, and so, but you have to keep in mind you would not use that on every hang point. So like let's say you have 300 hang points, you're only going to use those maybe every 10. You have to sway brace every point. See, now what we do is when we get your shop drawings, we have a
Like I said, we'll explain the whole side of the piece, don't we?
Yeah, well, Alex will explain that, but we actually take your drawings and we overlay where the sway brace should be.
Okay.
But the other thing is, you mentioned another very important thing. It reminded me. Before I came to Gripple, I worked for a company that did a lot of work inside warehouses, and I sold repair materials for all of the damage that was done by forklifts. When they go up and they're pulling off the racks, oftentimes they'll hit some surfaces, and you can imagine you got a stud into concrete, and the forklift hits certain cracks, and now guess what? This breaks apart from the concrete. Well, if you hit this, guess what? No problem. So flexibility can work very much in your advantage, even during an earthquake, because a little bit of movement is going to keep everything from breaking apart. See, that's an advantage of flexibility, and that's why we're all smacking approved. Now, another method that you would use, the same. See, there's a trend you can see. Again, I have the same type of lock. I have this little unigrip lock here, which is this little guy right here. I just hook this into a clevis hanger, and I'm accomplishing the same thing. This is attachment to structure. Instead of using all thread, I have a clevis hanger that I can now put my piping through. And this is, again, instead of using all thread. Now this could be, you could be 3 inches from, you could be 2 inches from the deck with this. See? Or you could be, again, I was at a parking garage the other day and I saw there was a 12-level parking garage and they had all thread and they had like 4-inch drops. And the guy was up there and he was putting the bolts on and, you know, he's like 5 minutes per deal. This is like 20 seconds. So you can imagine, I mean, he's there like days and days and days doing it. So this is another method for saving time if you're going to use, and again, the cable is going to be superior to all thread in terms of performance. I'm sorry, question?
In terms of the trapezes, like what's the cable rated at?
Well, it's going to depend on the cable, but it'll start off at 120 and go all the way up to 860, depending on the cable diameter. So what we do is you just tell us what your weight load is, and typically you're going to look at about 240. Most of the trapezes we build are coming at 240.
Yeah, so you double it. So if you have, obviously, the largest lot we do there is 850. So you have 700 pounds per rack, all the way down from, 240, as Bill said. So quite the variance, but any even large piping you could achieve by using cable.
And by the way, keep in mind that 240 is every time you put a new trapeze, another 240. So you're
Very spacing and,
I'm just kind of trying to back in my mind, like what size pipe with insulation for water that would go over.
Well, if you figure 240 pounds going maybe 8 feet, you're well within that range. Even if it's full, a 4-inch pipe full of water is going to be under 100 pounds.
Right.
So it's very rare you even need to go above 240. But with your shop drawings, our engineer will specify this is the cable drop diameter that you need. Now another method or another way to hang is you may say, well, I love the cable, but maybe I don't have inserts, or I'm looking for a really innovative way to build trapezes without all thread and without cable. There's actually a third way, and that is what's called our fast track. And so this is a very innovative, again, competitive-wise, this is the only thing like it anywhere in the world. Nobody has something like this. So what this is a way to make a rigid trapeze without all thread and without cable. This is about 4 times as fast as using all thread. So what this is, you would specify what your width and your drop is, and then we have off the shelf we have these things called fast track, and they start off. They go every 4 inches, starting off at 9 inches. And they go from 9 plus 4 plus 4 all the way to 61 inches. Basically, it's 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. We provide an extra inch for the drill hole. So these fast tracks, if you notice, so let's say you have a 2 foot by 2 foot, and again you could have a 3 foot drop and a 4 foot width. But let's say you have a 2 by 2. These are already prefab by us. You get a package. So when you buy these, they come in a set. 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. You get the tracks in the strut here. They have these little cartridges with their push button, but they also have a marking here. So you go up to your deck. You don't have any insert. You don't have any drop point already. So you just go up to your deck and you mark it. You don't have to have a tape measure. You just mark it with your pen. You go up, and now you come back and you put in these tracks. And the weight load on this is really high. And what you can do is you can get it real tight to the deck. So for example, like that. Again, I'm up here now. These are breakaways. So once you get, let's say you have a 4 foot by 4 foot, you just tweak these back and forth, and it breaks off flush to the bottom. This will have the same performance as 1/2 inch all thread, and it will provide a weight load depending on the track. You're looking at 440, 650 on mechanical, 650 pounds weight rating, and you can multi-tier it as well. So you could have like Now, if you multi-tier, it's still $650 for the whole rack, but
It's
this
really
fast,
good for VRF lines. If you guys do a lot of VRF lines, where you pipe the deck, it's kind of perfect for that nice compact system.
this is a push button. So let's say you have your services and you think, oh, okay, that's the drop that I want. And then you realize, oh, my pipe is 4 inches and 3 inches. All you have to do is come and push the button. You know, a kid can do this. A high school kid can do this. Doesn't need to be trained. Just push the button. You want to just push the button. You lower it. And it locks on. That's fast track SPAC approved. If you know your drop and your width on piping, and you're going to do long runs, this will be way faster than all thread, saving you labor, and it's SPAC approved, IAPO approved, MSSF 258, and also has a rigid seismic brace. So let's say you're running 200 of these, maybe every 6th one you have to have a seismic brace. And now we have a seismic brace for this, which we show you in our engineering. So you can use this for your whole run and seismic brace it as well. It's called Fast Track, and the contractors that use this, once they start, they use it for everything because it's so fast. Yes.
How do I decide whether I'm going to use that or cable?
Well, that's a preference. The cable, you have to have an attachment to structure. Here you don't. Here you just, boom, right up. So this is where you don't have any attachment to structure. This is the attachment to structure.
Yeah.
It also depends as well on your drop. So Brian, they only come in 5 feet, so it's 5 foot by 5 foot down,
Okay,
basically.
so
That's,
you got to be closer to the
yeah, that's kind of your limiting factors with that system, where it's perfect for. The nice thing with cables is, sometimes we have jobs where we run into where we'll send out, 30-foot piece of cable. So obviously trying to do the equivalent with that with a piece of all thread or that system, it doesn't work. That's where the cable really lends itself to as well, where you've got something that's, quite a significant drop in the deck.
Is there
Yeah.
way,
And the other thing is,
So you've got another question, Bob? Yeah.
yeah, another question.
is there a way to lock the push button so after you break off, if someone pushes that button?
Is the
Well-
width going to drop down?
That's a good question. It wouldn't really, it's not going to drop down if someone pushes it because it's already bolted in. So they'd have to push it and unscrew it. So you're
I'm not
really
worried
pretty
about
safe.
I'm not worried about the rod
bracket.
dropping down, I'm worried about the strut
The
dropping
rack
down.
would drop if someone pushes that button.
So once you've got the weight on it, these services, it's pretty hard to move. So
Right.
if you're concerned about like someone accidentally, let's say, hitting it and then it releasing, you find it pretty hard for it to move down once the weight of the service, how the lock works inside, clips onto the track.
Oh, I see.
And the also thing is too, see, and Alex made a good point, and also you got to actually vandalize. You have to actually go up, and the guy has to want to do it. If you just hit this, it's not going anywhere. You have to actually push it all the way in. It's like a trigger pull on a gun. You have to push it all the way in. So unless someone's trying to actively push it, it's not going to happen. But the other thing is up the pie to someone would have to get on a ladder and go up and do it. But that is a system that will make a long run very fast, particularly if you're going to use all thread in place of it. That's called the Fast Track. Very innovative product and very cost effective.
Did you show the rod stiffeners with EMT?
We're going to get to that. Yes, absolutely. Do you ever, well, I would imagine if you have like a warehouse or a long run where you run into a situation where you're faced with, you need strut. You need to add strut to have drop points. Like you have a warehouse, let's say you got, your truss is going this way, but you actually need strut going this way, right? So what do? Well, what you have to do traditionally is you have to go buy strut, and you have to run it over the trusses. Strut's very expensive. The price of steel with tariffs now, you could be looking at $3, $4, or $5 a foot on. I mean, who knows what the price of strut's going to be, right? With the price of 12-gauge steel, very expensive. So we have a solution. It's called cable strut. By the way, everything I talk about here, we have brochures on, which we'll show you later. And with cable strut, this is a very innovative way to make strut without strut. So, for example, I would come to the building, and Alex will hold this here. So I can come to simply with a clamp bolted to the side of the building. I can lock off, just like I showed you choke with the lock here, and then I run this cable I can go 400 feet down a warehouse and just keep going, looping over every truss, right? Every time I go over a truss, I create a new waypoint. Then, so this becomes my strut. Thus, we call it cable strut. Now I come back with our innovative lock, this little clip here, which now it's a hand mount system. And all I have to do is put it on like this, and, whoops,
That's what would happen.
Yeah, hold this out.
yeah, it's hold it's a little easy, so it's hot. So when I put this on, now, so what I have is with this system, this would be my drop point. I can have any type of connection down here. Like for example, I could have a unit grip. Now, I can move it. So let's say I don't know exactly where that pipe is going to be. All I have to do is with my fingers slide this to where I want it, and once I release, it's locked. So I can move it anywhere, any way I want, and make a drop point.
What if you had to stiffen that?
Like seismic braces.
Like seismic braces?
So this would be for small sheet metal in terms of us, you
It'd
know.
be anything below 75
Yeah,
pounds.
exactly, yeah. So small applications. Typically, yeah, this is more so for like electricians, but we do have occasions where
Like you could use
people
that
like
for
self-use
VFDs
it.
instead of straps.
Yeah, or anywhere we scrap, it's just scrap it, and we do a lot of
They're very convenient, you know, to not have to, you know, to not have to go up with tools on a scissor lift. You just got the ability to move it like that. Very cool product. Again, very innovative, and it's kind of a specialty situation where you need to run strut, but you don't want to. Now another really good product. It's called our Flexus Stack here, and this is based on the same principle as this Fast Track. Is with this would be where you've got a pipe, and you want to create your own drop point. This would simply go in like this. Now, again, the same principle. Now I have a push button system where I can.
How long can those be?
How long can the 5 feet?
5 feet?
So you can drop this down, and then we also have a smaller. We have a half size one of these. So you can go this size or half size. So that'll be when you need to run a pipe and you don't have a particular drop insert and you need to make one. You just throw that right in the deck, and you have your pipe here. So another.
Good for line sets. In terms, that's probably the main application people use that for. Dropping, you're branching off a trapeze or something. You just want to run one or two. Just fits nicely in that hanger.
Yeah. So that's now another very innovative product that. So this product, this is really kind of a no-brainer for every mechanical contractor. You guys should have hundreds of these in your stock, literally. What this is this is a one part fits all cush clamp. So instead of having 17 different cush clamps, which can be very expensive, you start getting over 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 inches, cush clamps get really expensive. But aside from the cost, is the fact that cush clamps are hard to manage on inventory, because what happens is you get out on a job site and you think, okay, I need 14 3 inches and I need 24 4.5 inches, and you get out there and you realize that you don't have exactly the size that you need. So what this is, this provides a one size. This one has been demoed like 6,000 times. That's why. So time for me to replace this baby. So anyway, what this is, when you get out onto your job site, and this is a cinch down push clamp replacement. So instead of having all different sizes, you can have this in your toolbox. And when you have a 3 inch, 7 inch, 10, 12 inches, This is a stainless steel band with proprietary coating which prevents any type of galvanic response to dissimilar metals like copper, stainless, cast iron, PVC, any type of alloy, aluminum. So they can all be put in here without any type of problem. And it's a push button system, very easy. Now, so to put it on the strut, all you do is you've got a strut nut here. You just connect it right down onto the strut, like this, and it would connect to your strut just like that. And let's see if I loosen up, if I get it back in here.
I see the end is frayed, that's one.
Yeah.
That end is frayed.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's time for
Hammer
it's
replacement.
time for a replace that one, Bill.
Yeah.
So
So
we're at.
anyway, you get the picture.
Looks
So-
all easy.
It's basically a product that's going to eliminate the need to have, 60 different push clamps on the job site. So that is kind of an overview of the main products, and then Alex is going to talk about our seismic, because really Gripple is as a manufacturer, we're really a seismic specialty company. We do all the seismic, and that's what we're working on with the project right now with you guys.
The Team Disney one? Sorry, is your project by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
So,
just curious, I want to see the strut.
the conduit.
The all thread, yeah, that.
Okay, so typically I take it you guys, so if you imagine then you've got a trapeze, so you've got, what would be this, made out of all thread, right? Or stiffening a piece of pipe. I take it you normally use strut. Previously, that's what
The hard part we're having right now to swallow on our side, between my boss and the field. The field, Robert Vasquez, our superintendent, is saying, go this route. It's
Yeah.
gonna make things much easier. But I'm trying to swallow that cost. Because I'm trying to justify that extra cost compared to the labor I'm saving.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everyone knows how a typical rod stiffener works then, right? So piece of all thread, you get a piece of strut, and then we actually sell them. We have our own too in terms of standard clip that goes inside. Pretty fiddly, so obviously you've got to get it in, turn it, and you need essentially 2 or 3 hands to get it locked in. Versus with the EMT, the nice thing is that pretty much all our projects now use. So like, once again, first is using a piece of strut, 1 inch, so you guys have probably already got this, a lot cheaper than using strut. And then the way to sandwich the 2 together and lock it together, push on the clip, okay, which opens it up, and that's it, okay? So the nice thing is, they hold themselves in place, and then once you've installed them all, so typically, I think on 1/2 inch, you're about 14 inch space, you just go back down with an impact, and they just shear off, okay, so you've got a visual inspection point. So in terms of if you do OPM jobs or occupied jobs, it gives you that visual for your torch job. So very, very simple in terms of installation. 1 hand. There are other ways you can do it. You can use like a pipe clamp essentially to do the same thing, but you have again 2 or 3 sets of hands. Come around, clamp it together, then you've got to go through and tighten them from the bottom. Someone drops one, it falls on the floor, whereas this, the nice thing with the spring load is that that's it. So very simple.
So, the distance to the deck, I've got some units that are slammed to the deck, so we're not putting anything in.
Yeah.
What is that distance to where you don't need to stiffen it?
So it depends obviously on the weight of the equipment is going to be one factor. And obviously like you said, that drop point itself. There used to be obviously the 12-inch rule, which people tried to get away with and think, oh, man, we still come across this in the field. Walk around a job site and look up and see no stiffness, like, oh, it's okay, I'm in 12 inches of the deck. But yeah, that does no longer apply, which makes it a little bit more complicated. So
What if you're like 4 inches?
They said no.
once again, it depends obviously on the job, the type of job, whether it's like a school DSA job or something, but typically that close, you're not going to be able to get something in.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, we take a third look at it for you and see what it is. So it's a mixture across your
So
job.
I'm getting ready to send you
Yeah.
what we actually have. Some of them are 8 feet to the deck, but on the building we're in right now, everything's slammed really close. Nothing's more than 22 inches. And a lot of them are like slammed to the deck.
Yeah.
And some of them are 4 inches from the deck.
What's the weight on them?
It's anywhere from 200 to 300 pounds.
Okay, so yeah. Again, nothing's going to be exempt on that one. So.
But isn't it also the length of the rods?
Yeah, that's
Where
what I
you, what do you call it? If you install it on the top of the unit and you slam it to the deck,
Yeah.
you don't need the stiffeners, but a lot of contractors put the rod at the base of the unit strut and it's on the base of the equipment. So that rod becomes longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on mine, all the tie points, just like you said, are at the top of the box.
Okay.
So they're all fan power boxes, and all my connection points are at the top.
Yeah.
So it is true distance to the deck. My rod length is gonna be 4 inches, and some of them are nothing. We're gonna anchor right into the deck.
Yeah, where you can
Yeah.
just see a caliper and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm getting ready to send you the list for the first building.
Yeah.
Only
So you send it through Bill and then
Bill,
Carl.
yeah.
It's Mark, right?
Mark, yeah.
Yeah. I'm copying some and then you've got Shannon.
Shannon's
Shannon
been-
is
yeah,
who's
yeah.
actually going to engineer it for you. So yeah, we can take a further guidance up for you.
So I'm originally you quoted me 3 feet for all of them.
As an average, yeah.
This whole building that I'm doing right now, none of them are more than 22 inches.
Okay. So that would just, all that will do then, Mark, is just reduce the number of stiffness you'll need. Yeah.
You mean all four, all threads, how many of those have to be stiffened? All of them, or?
So it would be all of them, if they require stiffness.
But what I'm getting at, some of them are 4 inches. You're saying those you can put in?
No, I don't, I'd say I don't think those ones will. in terms of- Yeah.
All right, so that's what I'm getting at. And then cabling for
Cabling
the sway
will have to-
bracing,
yeah.
well, that goes away too, right?
And once again, it just depends on the length of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, that's what I'm running into, and that's why I wanted to come to this. I wanted to,
You'll be able to alleviate some of it by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Some of the
because that'll help me account for the cost. You
Yeah.
know, because, I had, Vibris, I had them all look at it. And so that's what I'm getting at. But what's in your favor is our superintendent is saying this is much faster.
Well, you've got to take into account, so obviously, like I said, so this, obviously, like PCDMT, probably going for under $1 a foot.
Yeah.
Shrub, I know what you got. You may be like, the tank gets to you, $3 something a foot.
Yeah, no, you guys included the all thread and the PMT and
So
everything.
you can
in
see
my quote.
the breakdown of that, yeah.
Shannon broke that separate. I think it was Shannon.
And then you've just got to think in terms of your labour. So you're paying guys to cut shrub, which just take a lot longer, even just to handle it on a job
So
site.
that's another thing. You'll give me a kit per box, and you'll label it and that.
Correct.
Because I'm trying to speed things up to get this. We're supposed to do so many a night.
So just to show you that the side of the kit itself, how this is going to come, okay, so it's very simple. So if you use your other partners in the past, okay, you probably used a lot of different part codes.
Yeah.
What we like to do is blanket the job. So this is our cable kit. Pretty much, we're always going to come in unless you specify otherwise. A kit comprises of 2 cables. Okay, so that'll come in a bag, 10 to locks or whatever it's going to be. Okay. Within that, so you've got 2 sets of cables, you've got 2 locks, and then you've got these as well. So these are our what we call a retrofit bracket. So the nice thing is, you can have all this equipment suspended, okay? Then you can come back through, if it works for you guys, and install these afterwards. So all you do is you back off your square washer and up, you loop it in this bracket, okay? And then similar to what Bill was saying with the hanger side, everything comes pre-cut and fused for your job. So your connection to the structure comes pre-cooked on, and you say to us, hey, Alex, I want everything with a half-inch bracket on the top. And that's what angles they come pre-cooked on. And then the nice thing is with the locks, So all our locks and kits are color coded. But like I said, so that whole job, we just make it in one part code. So you're just going to have these green GS12 cable kits, what we would call them. Okay? And all I do to install it, there's no turnbuckles, there's no...
That's after I anchored that into the
Correct.
desk.
So this is now at the top of the deck mark.
Yeah.
Anchored on. All I do is lock on. That's fully locked on. Okay. This is already on your equipment, or your trapeze, or your piping, or whatever service you're attaching to. I just go through, and then pass it back, and that's it. There's no tools now to tighten that. All I do to apply the tension is just my hand. And once it's got the slack at the cable, that's it. So once the field guide feels it.
So we can fully install those on everything and then tie it in, come in, loop it around, zip, done.
That's it, done. Okay? And then you're probably wondering, you probably saw me pull these out of the bags.
Yeah.
These are optional, so some people, some of the owners, for instance, I went to the Google data center, and they were adamant they wanted these on for their inspection. So you put them on, and that just shows that with engineering, obviously, there's typically that many different parts and pieces that when they're doing a visual inspection, like when you got the right bracelet there, and then you just see. So it's a green tag, so you get the green sticker on the lock, and it's a green box. So there's just no way these kids can get mixed up on a job site.
The inspectors have already seen, they already know what that green means.
They know what it all is, yeah. And this would match up your engineering. So on your engineering, I can show you an example if you want to see it afterwards, Mark.
Does it make sense, since we know the distance to the deck, does it make sense to get these by the strut and the AMT pre-cut to the size and include it in the kit?
You can do
That
that, yeah.
way when, or I guess, in the, yeah, maybe not. So wouldn't you say that you'd rather cut it in the field?
On the cable,
No, the all thread and the EMT.
the only thing you have to cut is the end of the cable, that's all.
Yeah, no, that, but does it make sense to pre-cut the EMT and the all thread since we already know the lengths?
You probably, for adjustability, you want to do it in the field.
Do it in the
Because
field.
it's such a quick cut with that as well. It's not like a piece of scrub, just and that's it.
You have to use all thread for these sizes because it's thread.
Yeah.
Yeah, the portable.
It's just the
And
spinner.
EMT cuts.
Correct, yeah.
The typical use for us, you use EMT kind of.
All right, so we would just have that as a kit.
And that's it. So that's your, as I say, that's your brace, whether you're doing a piece of equipment or you're doing a pipe rack. It's the same, and I guarantee on which engineer you use, they're going to make it work with just one kit. So there's, let's say you complete that job right, and for whatever reason, you've got some spare materials, these spare kits. I'm going to beef it up now and say you're left with 50. Well, your next job, rather than putting trash, you come in a bucket and trash them all because they're not applicable. You could say to us, Alex, on that job, I have 50 of these left. Can you engineer them into an extra for me? And we can do that because it's just one kit.
Sweet.
So it's a very diverse side in terms of their capabilities.
No one else is doing this, right?
Pretty much no, because a lot of people are focused on trying to sell as much material into the job as they can, which then obviously just causes issues for you guys actually, like, why do all the material?
Do they come with the anchors?
No, but we can bundle that, so Shannon would just bundle that up here.
I don't think that makes sense. We stop.
But then I say you probably use the Hilti anchor, right?
Yeah,
Bottom attachment?
Yeah.
That could go into the nut for the all thread.
Yeah, correct.
That's what it's designed to move around.
So, yeah, I'll show you the details
On the top of the.
after the screen behind it, but yeah, so.
You know, when you look at the projects that are being braced with strut, I looked at one the other day, I mean, it's so expensive, you had 4 foot strut going both ways. It's a lot of money on buying strut, you know, had a 45 degree going this way and a 45 degree with 4 feet, I'm going, man, that's some money right there, and the labor, when you could have just used this, you know, I mean, seismic bracing with strut is expensive, heavy, but that's what most contractors are doing, they just don't know.
6x6x3. 25, 30 feet up.
Yeah, no, that's.
Sometimes you don't even have to cut the cable. I was only saying you cut the cable if he gives you 5 feet and you have
Yeah.
3 foot left.
Yeah.
You just kind of like,
Well, it's a little different.
you can actually coil.
I suppose it
You
depends
just put it
on
out
this.
there.
If it's a closed lid and you can't see it, people will leave it. But yeah, it's exposed. It's
Bundle
on
it up and put it on top of the unit, you don't have to cut it. Just hide it up there.
And we have cable cutters that are specifically designed, it's a little quick snap, and we give you those at no cost. And it's just one little pull and it cuts it right off.
The key thing is trying to get rid of all this excess material on your side. Because it does get very confusing in terms of if you just use one tip and then it's idiot-proof in a way.
So that whole building, they're all the short runs, pretty much the same kit
Same kit.
for the whole. So you would do like 3 foot to 0, or someone, if they're 0, they're not gonna get anything. I'm assuming anything below 12 inches is probably not gonna get anything.
You're saying that rule is very up in the air as to what's determined and what's not, and that 12-inch rule.
I can tell you by county, like if you're in Riverside County or San Bernardino, they're not gonna care if it's within, but if you're LA City, it's gonna be a little more,
It's LA County.
you know.
Yeah, so you'll have respect to probably check this out quite in English, you know, to some ways. But yeah, and that's how it works. So if you go for our internal engineering, standard lead time, you're looking like 10 days in terms of turnaround speed. We do the standard, so if you need to expedite, for you.
There's no, so you're gonna get a list for that whole building, and then when you go to the second building, you're gonna get that list, and then you're just gonna, yeah.
So something like equipment's a lot quicker to turn around because if your units are pretty much the same, then obviously that's, yeah.
Mark, another point too, I just had a big project where they bought our seismic and they got inspected and he ran out and he figured I'm just gonna wing it, and he ran the seismic and the inspection said, oh, you need to add some here. All he did was put another order in and buy some more. So it's not like, you know, it's a terrible mistake. The worst case scenario, if you're up at 6 inches and the inspector goes, oh, you need to just buy another kit. It's not
VAVs are less than 75 pounds, so you don't need it.
I think that's correct. It's under 75.
It's 25 in some places.
It's 75, which is usually a 16-inch box and below, with a heating hot water coil. If there is no coil, then you.
Most of them are, there's hardly any VAVs.
And it depends how much your jurisdiction is, because
But that's another thing, do I strap those, use strap to mount those, or do I use your cable to?
Well, you
Yeah.
use cable for everything. You're asking the cable guys.
So if you're using, so obviously if you require seismic, you've got stiffness, so you do have to have.
Yeah,
You have
that's-
to have all, you have to have all correct.
Yeah.
And by the way, talking about hanger strap, what I've seen, because I'm kind of new to the industry. Alex has been doing this forever since he was a teenager. But I can tell you, I mean literally. But I can tell you is I see these guys that do hanger strap, like guys who are my age, and their arms are all cut up and scarred from cable strap. They love this because hanging ductwork with cable is so much safer, cleaner, and easier.
But hanging a VAV box with the cable, you have to, you're not gonna, the strap goes around and they just screw the strap. On this, you're dropping it down to the corners of the box, right? The top
Yeah, so
corners.
it's,
And this lock here.
depends, you've got two options. So Bill was showing earlier, but yeah, you've got this one. So this one is if there's no access panel underneath,
Yeah.
or if it's just, it does have an access going on the side, yeah, use this one. And you've got basically a little rubber grommet on it as well, for vibration. But yeah, so seismic is very simple. We try and make it as easy as we can. But also, well, simple for you guys as well, but then for the fields, so they're the ones installing it, right?
And I think once you start using Gripple, we found, a lot of contractors haven't tried Gripple, but the ones that have tried it, they keep wanting to use it. and if they get an engineering spec where the Gripple's not on it, they put in a substitution request that I think they submit on it, because they want to use it, because they're fans and they've seen the savings, and it would be very rare for an engineer to say no. I mean, because if we have the submittals, the liability's not on that engineer, because we've proven with the submittals. So if your contractor wants to use Gripple, 99 times out of 100 they can use it. And so it's just really trying it, and then your people in the field will tell you, oh, this is great, let's do it on the next one.
We'll share this with you as well, so you can see all our details. If you have got a job that you want to incorporate into, feel free to copy and paste these and put them into your plan to submit. But we do have like a full submittal pack as well. That's those two. Yeah, pretty much a detail for every application. So yeah, a little bit of an insight into cables. Sometimes the easiest way is if you do have a job where you get stuck or you're looking for a certain way to hang something, just reach out. We've probably done it in some way, shape or form in the past, so yeah. Hope it was useful for you guys.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Any other questions or anything?
I kind of asked this question earlier, but you want to discuss the distribution and who we deal with you directly?
Yeah, so
Or Bill, or?
So you can reach out to us directly in terms of, and we'll help out with any coordination of the job or helping you pick out what products, even down to the quote. And then we typically pass it back through to Royston's to handle. Or I think in this case, on that Disney project, they've also got their own engineering department too. And I think you guys might have reached out there first, and then we obviously get the call too. So we kind of work with partnership.
The other nice thing too is, I mean, our manufacturing plant, you ever want to tour, we're right down the road that way. 3 minutes, you can see how we make everything. So we're looking for a long-term association with you guys. And it just so happens Royston is right around the corner too. So we have our manufacturing here for you and our distributor. And our engineers, myself, Alex, we have anything that's on site, like the team Disney, I think Mark said that they're going to do that in the middle of the night. So we'll go out there 2 a.m. if we need to, or we'll train your people here if you're going to do any prefab, So we provide the support. Once you guys get using Gripple, then it's a no-brainer. Maybe the first time they want to see it, but I rushed out to the other day and I was ready to train how to do it, and I raced out there and they already had it up. I'm like, whoa. And I looked at it, that looks really good. And I said, yeah, what are you doing here? We don't need you. And I'm like, okay, looks really good. And so, I mean, most people, they can do this very simply. But we're here to provide help. We're not just like some company that's in India or Pakistan or China. We're not just going to study this stuff and then run away. We're right here. And that's a big thing going forward. If there's any little modifications, we can usually make the change that same day. Come out to it. In fact, we had a deal with Bill down there. They called an order in at 1 p.m. or roll call time, cuts off 2, and he picked it up at 1:58. I mean, that fast is how we got an order out to him.
We just need a 58-minute.
There you go. Try and find a bit more advanced, but you know what it's like.
My plant manager was yelling at me, "Wait, I'm trying to go home and he's here and there's 2 minutes to spare." Well, we did it, And so we do the roll call, and you can bring this up right here to where you guys are.
Thanks.
Well, I'll circulate this with you after, same with the seismic 9 as well. And then see, put our contact details in, so if you have any questions or, yeah, just reach out.
And we'll see how skilled you are to catch these footballs.
Oh, hush.
Really? Putting me on the spot here, though.
Oh, wow.
Whoa! It's okay. Cool. Where is it? There it is.
Yeah. Everybody got one? We need some more? You good? Your kids will love these.
I'll take one more.
Okay.
From my
Here.
son.
So we're
Anyone got any kids? Anyone want some more?
This is a drive home. Keep it forward.
you need it in that traffic.
Careful, Stephen, you better sit down today.
We really appreciate you guys. I talked to Brian on the phone and he said to me, he says, we're gonna have 18. And I go, 18? And then where are all these no-shows?
Well, they're actually on the computer, on their desk.
Oh, well, now we're on film, so.
Yeah, you're on film.
Oh, that's great, so we can just share this with everybody through the company.
Yeah.
I better not say any bad words.
You gotta shave before you get on the camera.
I had a few jokes, but I'll hold those.
We actually used your product, but we mostly use it for like exposed applications. Or I think the client wanted it.
Was it early 78?
Somewhere in Irvine.
Okay.
It was all exposed.
I know we've
We like
almost
to look
used
at
it
the
a
cable
few times.
versus the
Yeah.
strap.
Well, your companies like your Disney, your Apple, your Google, all these big tech companies, entertainment, they want the cable because it looks really good. You know, so that's another big thing. Like I said, cleaner, safer, better looking, and labor saving. That's really kind of key. Because you can, honestly, in Southern California, maybe 20–25% of contractors are using. So all these contractors that are using traditional means and methods, all thread, they're not as competitive. They're spending more money than they need to. You use it, you're in a better position than the competition. Any other questions?
Let's make it work for my show.
We'll have to call
Right up
back.
her shoe will show. Very easy.
You know, when
That's the.
I came to work for Gripple, they made me do a hanger strap in our training. Man, I'm telling you, I was like, I'm looking at that stuff, that razor sharp on it, and then you gotta bend it around and screw it in, and that's dangerous. I mean,
It's that adjustability, isn't it? It's that adjustment piece.
Yeah.
If you do misdrill it, you've got to drill it again, and it does look nice.
I talked to a country the other day, it was funny, I said, what do you do when you hang your ductwork with strap and it's uneven? He goes, I just leave it. He goes, I don't care, I'm not changing it, it's too hard, you know, and you look at it, it's like this, you know? And to change it,
One thing to do is another to say it out loud. Perform.
We gotta get that arm in the table, so.
it was like on the new guy, the new apprentice, he did it, not me, I'm leaving it.
That's not good.
Awesome, thank you. Someone get a button plans right here. Here we go.
You actually have one. Yeah, came over like this, can go from one side of the building to the other side when you have a cable that.
500 feet.
Or, that's pretty cool. I mean, it could be, is it in the right application?
As long as you
I
have
don't know
trust
how
to
you
go
guys
for it,
keep
you
trained
just keep going.
Yeah.
Like Amazon warehouse.
Sit on it for a minute.
Yeah, big facility where.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where it really comes in.
Like when you explain it, I'm like, oh wow, that could be really, because then you get 30 hangers off of that thing, or maybe more, I don't know what it'd be rated at, right? It's gonna hang, how many you can hang off of that. That's pretty cool.
And I was talking to an engineer the other day, and he was saying that what he liked about it was it doesn't produce so much more weight.
So what I did
Because
is,
strut is heavier.
and don't
And if you're running 400 feet,
Don't look at
you're
that
gonna
guy's
weight
name
on the
right
ceiling,
there, whatever.
you know, on the
Don't look at
road.
that.
Question on these, is there a right way, wrong way?
Well, there's narrow. See, if
Okay,
you're
gotcha.
This is a.
That's what I was wondering, I was thinking in my head, the old don't saddle a dead horse thing, you know.
Tell them to look at the arrow, yeah, they got an arrow in and arrow in.
So what I wanted to do.
Every launch has
explained to them.
I remember this tool, the only tool comes
And
with,
there's no way
right?
that.
The link
Yeah,
in it,
exactly.
off.
Keep that if you want, that's an extra. You can have,
So.
this is, we see you have to do a example. Those,
How to.
for the rod stiffening.
So this is their regular instrument that we're talking about, right?
Yep, that's the regular.
And this is the cable, they have a cable, you have.
So there, just
Yeah, that's just a little compact clamp, hand pull,
Yep.
right onto the.
If I would have sent you this, or not this, but if I would have sent you this
we're looking through here, the same lock, and
This is what I think.
cinch it down.
We could do something on one of these.
Pretty much, yeah, the cables again, yeah.
The cables.
Can I grab a couple of these? Absolutely.
You would also tell me or give me a quote on what I would need.
Exactly.
And the engineering as well.
Yeah.
You
Fully
said
stamped.
this, you don't necessarily use it with this particular.
Now I don't
No,
know.
yeah, with these,